were telling me some people just have like a goose show up and live with them for like however many years until they meet their soulmate. That's hilarious. Hi, I'm Claudia, and Soulmate AU fanfics are some of my favourite fanfics in the entire world. There is something about a Soulmate AU that I just find so beautiful and perfect that I just don't get with many other tropes. Soulmate AU is not my absolute favourite trope, that honour goes to right person, wrong time, but it's definitely up at the top of my list. And that's probably because I'm a hopeless romantic and the idea of being fated to be with someone is very appealing to me, but we're not going to go into that right now. I'm just here to yap about Soulmate AU, so that is what I'm gonna do. If you don't know what Soulmate AU is, it's kind of what it says on the tin. Two characters are fated to be together as soulmates in some sort of way. There are a lot of different options with a Soulmate AU, which I think really shows how versatile it is, but I'll go into that in a minute. Some of the most common ways of doing a Soulmate AU is, for example, two characters being tied together with a string. Quite often this is a red string which ties usually the little finger of two characters together, and only these two characters can see the string, and the whole like fic is about them trying to find their soulmate. Another very common one is characters have tattoos appear on them which have the initials of their soulmate. That can also make for some absolutely fabulous miscommunication if you have a character who in canon does not go by their given name. There's also ones where characters have tattoos of the first words their soulmate is going to say to them. They can have tattoos that symbolise what their soulmate means to them. Sometimes they can just share a tattoo of a specific symbol and you just kind of have to try and find the person with the matching one. Sometimes it can be a situation where a character can write on their skin and it will appear on their soulmate's skin, which is great because it means the characters can communicate with each other before meeting, which I personally love a little bit of. You can also have a Soulmate AU where they share injuries, so all the injuries one person gets, the other is guaranteed to get, and therefore they share like scars and bruises and that kind of thing. You can also have like a slight deviation from that where they share pain but not like injuries, so they don't have the same physical scars, but like if one of them gets punched, the other one feels it, that kind of thing. I've also seen Soulmate AUs where the characters are like telepathically linked and can hear each other's thoughts, but it's not like all the time they can hear their thoughts. It's like they have flashes where they can communicate, and then other times they just can't hear each other, and it's like a lot of fun because there's a lot of miscommunication that can go on that way, and I love a little bit of miscommunication. There's also Soulmate AUs where you see in black and white until you meet your soulmate, and that's when you see colour. That one can make for some great angst if you have one character who's like on the verge of dying, and when they die the other one will lose all the colour in their vision because their soulmate's dead, and they're like trying to keep them alive while also losing their colour. Great angst. One of the less common Soulmate AUs I've seen, but still one I really love, is the Soulmate Enforcement Goose. It's kind of weird, but basically a goose will show up to someone one day and then will follow them around and try and lead them to their soulmate who also has a goose, because the geese are also soulmates. I've only read like one or two fics with this, but I think it's hilarious and I love it so much. But no matter what kind of type of Soulmate AU, no matter what the author is doing with the soulmates, I love it. I will read whatever Soulmate AU I come across. But because there are just so many options for Soulmate AUs, every fic is always going to be different. You're never going to come across two fics that are exactly the same, especially because even if it's like two fics by two different authors using like the same Soulmate AU and it's the same ship, you think it's going to be the same, but then it can be wildly different depending on when the author chooses to reveal the soulmate. Like, do they find out as soon as they meet? Like, is it a situation where it's like everything's black and white and then they see colour as soon as they meet, so they know they're soulmates from the get-go? Or is it more of like, oh, they have their initials tattooed on them somewhere, but one of them isn't called by their first name, so they just don't know that the other one's their soulmate? Also, for things that like appear, so for like strings, tattoos, sometimes even the writing on the skin, you have to like pick an age where the characters like develop that, I guess. And this varies like wildly from author to author, which I personally really enjoy, because you can find some fics where it happens to everyone like at a specific age, so like on their birthday this thing is going to appear that will lead them to their soulmate. But then you have other fics where it's like it's more of a range when it can appear, and it depends on like when you're ready and when the world thinks you're ready, and it's all more like this fate stuff. And I love both, because with the first one where they're told they have a soulmate at a specific age, they can feel guilty about falling in love with other people before they meet their soulmate. And then with the other one, they can go for years thinking they just don't have a soulmate because nothing's ever appeared to them, and then at the last possible moment it does, and I love that. Some of my favourite soulmate fics are ones which include a lot of miscommunication, which means most of them have some kind of Soulmate AU where it's like a tattoo appearing on the skin, or they can hear each other's thoughts sometimes, or they can write on their skin to each other, that sort of thing. Something that doesn't always make it like super obvious that they're soulmates at the beginning, you know? So if you have like a soulmate AU where a character has a tattoo of the initials of their soulmate, and you're also in a fandom where one member of the ship is not called by their first name, you can have so much miscommunication, and it's so good. For example, we're going to use my favourite TV show in the world, 911, but obviously we have Evan Buckley, who is a character in 911, but he is almost always called Buck. The only characters who have ever really like consistently called him Evan are like his parents, who he's not super close to, Maddie, his sister, who like eventually stopped and really just only calls him Buck at this point, and then Tommy, who I don't like, but I have to put on this list because he only called him Evan for some reason. And so we're going to imagine a situation for a second, and if you don't know 911, all you need to know is there's two characters, Eddie and Buck, and those are the two I'm shipping together here, okay? So imagine Eddie turns up and he knows his soulmate initials start with an E, and Buck's name, he just doesn't know it, but he presumes it can't be Buck because his name wouldn't start with an E. Like, the chances of that are so slim. Obviously, Eddie knows that the name Buck comes from his last name of Buckley, but he doesn't know what Buck's first name is. And for example, he could not find out until they're at the hospital after a near-death experience, and the doctor goes, family of Evan Buckley, and that's when Eddie realises that Buck is his soulmate, because that would be so fun. On top of that sort of miscommunication, you can also have situations where one of the characters knows that they're soulmates, but doesn't tell the other one. And these can be for like many reasons, but I love that so much because the angst, the miscommunication, the timing of it all coming out, it's so good. Also, fanfic authors are really good at picking like the right moment to reveal that like one of them has known that they're soulmates for ages. Like, it's so angsty and so good. Like, imagine the character that knows that the other one's their soulmate is on like the verge of death and thinks they're gonna die, and finally confesses it to the other one like on their deathbed, but then they live anyway, and then they have to deal with the fallout from that. Oh my god, it's perfection. Maybe I'm thinking about soulmate AUs recently just because 911's coming back and Buck and Eddie are, you know, soulmates, but you know, we don't need to go into that right now. But going on to another type of soulmate AUs, I love the ones where the characters can communicate before they actually meet in person, like the writing on the skin or like the communicating telepathically. Because a lot of the times the authors make it so in that situation, like, you can't tell each other your name because it's like supposed to be kept secret, so even if you write your name down, it's like blurry on the other person's skin. So even though they know each other, they don't like know each other, if you know what I mean. Which also means you can have situations where these two characters have known each other for like months and just don't know their soulmates because they can't tell each other their names through the soulmate connection and they haven't like made the link yet. Or with like the communicating telepathically thing, maybe the telepathic communication only like pops up during really important moments, kind of like when they're feeling like heightened emotions, that kind of thing. So these two characters find out they're soulmates when they're in like a near-death experience together, and that's so good. I love that so much. Because like the telepathic communication just activates when they're in the middle of this like very close to death situation. And now they're trying to like save each other while also finding out they're soulmates, and it's so good. Or with like any soulmate you can have a situation where one character before meeting their soulmate got married or is dating someone that is not their soulmate, and then they have to deal with this kind of like, I've met my soulmate but I'm also still in love with this other person. It's like a whole thing. Obviously that usually only happens if like in canon one of the characters is in a relationship when the two meet. Like I'm thinking Eddie and Shannon when Eddie meets Buck. That's the kind of vibe I'm going for here. Or if you've got like a situation where they like share pain or they write on each other, if it's like they're from either birth or from like a young age, you can have these two characters basically grow up together. And even if you have one that's only like a few years older, you can have them like as a teenager get slightly annoyed that they're tied to this like way younger person because everyone else is dating and they're not. That especially works well if you have a situation where only like a small percentage of the population have soulmates and it's not just like everyone has them type of thing. I also really love it if it's like a small population of people that have soulmates, that like if one character has gone their entire life thinking they're like unlovable, there's a lot of angst going on, and they thought they'll never have a soulmate because who would want to love them? And then when they're like old enough to have completely dismissed the idea, the soulmate, like whatever connection appears, and they're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this now? Like have a character waking up on their 30th birthday to find they have someone's initials tattooed on their collarbone. Oh my god. What's also quite fun is when you have the situation where a person has their soulmate's first words they speak to them like tattooed on their body. If those words are just like hello or something really generic, because they've just gone through their entire life thinking like everyone they meet could be their soulmate, but no one has been their soulmate. So when they finally do meet their soulmate and their soulmate gives them this like generic greeting, they completely like go off on them and say something really either angry or weird or whatever. And then the soulmate is like, well, that explains why I've had that tattooed on my body for the last however many years. I love that, because the one who has like gone off on them and has been waiting for their soulmate for so long will be so shocked and I will love it so much. I also do love the soulmate AUs where they have like a tattoo of something that's like symbolic of their relationship, and they both like have the same tattoo or they have like complementary tattoos, especially if this tattoo kind of like evolves as they grow and change. Like for example, the tattoo appears and it's a flower, but then as they go into a job, the tattoo changes to also have something to do with their new job, and then it kind of like evolves as these people grow up, and I love that so much. Or if they like share a tattoo and it's something that symbolizes their relationship and it just like doesn't make sense for their entire lives up until that point. So like they keep covering up because everyone keeps asking weird questions about it, so they don't want anyone to know. And then finally the situation happens and it all makes sense. Also with like any of the tattoo options, the characters can have that tattoo anywhere on their body, which means it could just be like hidden from the other character for like their entire time. And no one wants to ask them to see their soulmate tattoo because that scene is kind of like taboo and creepy and awkward, so they just don't know for like years, and I love that so much. Or maybe it's a situation where if like you write on your skin, it appears on your soulmate skin, and then one of them ends up having a kid through whatever means, so they keep having like crayon scribbles on their hands and stuff, and the other one thinks, oh, they haven't waited for me, they're obviously married with a kid, and then has a full-on breakdown about it. Love the angst. Or maybe when one of them is like writing to the other, they're like, don't wait for me, I know I'm like 5 years younger than you just go off and have fun, and when we meet, you know? Except now when they do meet, the other one's had like all this experience that the other one hasn't because they're so much younger that they've just decided to wait, and it's like really kind of awkward because like one waited but the other didn't, but also they told them not to wait, and I love it so much. And then in my opinion, the funniest soulmate EU is just the geese. Like you're telling me some people just have like a goose show up and live with them for like however many years until they meet their soulmate? That's hilarious. Like I don't know where the soulmate geese came from, but I thank whoever came up with it because it's hilarious and I love it so much. Like the soulmate geese has been a recent discovery for me, but a very welcome discovery. I think it's hilarious. I love it so much. I might write a soulmate goose fic in the near future. But also going back to the one where you like see colour for the first time when you meet your soulmate, I really love that if it's done like in a crowd. So because sometimes it doesn't have to be like actually meet and like shake hands with your soulmate or whatever. Sometimes it's just make eye contact with. So what if it like happens when they're at like a big shopping centre and there's crowds everywhere and they don't know who it is? I love that so much. Or maybe one of them's like a famous singer and the other one's been dragged to their concert by their friend, and then they make eye contact and then they both see colour, and then the other one can't find the one who is in the crowd because you know they've been on stage the entire time, and oh my god, I love it so much. Or maybe it's not even when you make eye contact with your soulmate, it's just when you see them for the first time. So maybe one of them sees the other but the other doesn't see them, so one of them's been like seeing colour for years before they like re-meet, but the other one has never seen colour before, so they keep asking them questions, be like, what's this colour, what's this colour, because now they can finally see colours and like see the difference between all of them, and it's so cute. Or maybe if it's a situation where it's like you write on your skin and it appears on your soulmate skin, maybe it like developed one random day in like the middle of their 20s and they weren't expecting it, so they just wake up one day to see someone else's shopping list like written on their arm, and they're like, oh god, what's going on? And I love when that happens if it's like two characters that already know each other like really, really well, but they just don't know their soulmates. I find that so funny. I also think it's really sweet because it's like they're learning about each other for the first time like all over again through like talking on their arms, even though they already know each other in real life. But also you can have a situation where one of the characters is jealous of the other one's best friend that they keep hearing about, not knowing that they are the best friend that they keep hearing about. It's so good. And then in any soulmate AU, something I love is if they like work together and it's like frowned upon to be in a relationship with your coworkers, but they're soulmates, and nothing's ever been written into the rules about two soulmates working together because they never thought it would happen. They were like, oh, it's such a small possibility, we just won't write about it, and then it does happen. They're like, well, we have to let you continue to work together because we don't have a choice here, you could sue us otherwise. I love that. I love the idea of these two characters being like the anomaly because they were so fated to be together, and I know that's just the hopeless romantic in me, but I can't help it. But anyway, I love soulmate AUs. I love every single soulmate AU that I come across, and I think they're all so good. There are other soulmate AUs I haven't even mentioned in this video, I'm sure, because I just like can't remember them right now. But if you've never read a soulmate AU, you should definitely go and look for them. I sometimes specifically search for only soulmate AU fanfics if that's like what I need in the moment, but they're all so good. Like no matter what fandom, I definitely recommend you go and read a soulmate AU. And maybe if you have a favourite kind of soulmate AU, you could leave it in the comments down below. And also while you're there, I have to do the awkward and really cringy thing and ask you to like the video and maybe subscribe. If you like fanfiction, most of my videos are about fanfiction, so if you subscribe you'll get a bunch more videos about fanfiction in your subscription box. And while we're talking about subscribers, I have to say a massive thank you for 300 subscribers. I know it might seem like crazy small compared to like other big channels, but for me, a like little tiny channel who's just doing this for fun, it's like a massive deal. So thank you so much. Also, if you want to see specifically more videos like this that are like trope deep dives, I'll link the playlist in the description alongside a playlist to all of my videos about fanfiction. Also down in the description there'll be links to my AO3 profile if you want to check out my fanfics. There'll also be links to my Twitter account and my TikTok account. I post new fanfic related TikToks literally every single day, so if you like fanfiction you'll probably enjoy what I do over there. So yeah, I've been Claudia, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll hopefully see you all soon. Bye!